Hello. This presentation describes a recommendation for how Aviator Airlines, a fictional company modeled on a real airline, could begin to transform itself by adopting enterprise architecture practices. We'll be following this outline. We'll talk about the current problems with Aviator's operating model. We'll talk about the future state we envision for Aviator. We'll discuss a roadmap to the future and the risks and values of using enterprise architecture. We'll talk about how service-oriented architecture could be part of Aviator's architecture and then wrap up with conclusions. Next, Zahid will talk about Aviator's problems and current operating model.
Thank you, Dave. Hello, I'm Zahid Casey, and I'll be touching briefly on the current operating model at Aviator Airlines. An operating model is the schema that all segments of an organization operates within. It describes the degree of standardization or integration of all processes within the enterprise. Aviator Airlines in this case seems to have most of its IT infrastructure and business processes standardized for the most part, but integration problems still exist, suggesting that they currently have a replication operating model. Having a well-defined set of business and IT processes has allowed Aviator Airlines to maintain standardization across most of its core IT operations, but problems seem to exist as it doesn't seem to be in total control of all of its various IT initiatives between the two major parts of its IT organization, the web team and the IT operations team. Redundancy of IT operations and initiatives between the two has, in a very short time, produced systems and applications with vastly similar functionalities but built with different technologies and programming languages. Patching, band-aiding, and blanketing applications to work with each other has bloated IT headcounts and spiked IT maintenance costs. So Aviator Airlines seems to have serious IT bottlenecks due to all these problems as I just described, which has further complicated the company's ability to implement an effective IT governance. And now we'll have Chris, who will be talking about the future operating model.
Thank you, Zahid. Today I'm going to talk about the future state of Aviator Airlines. As my partner briefly described about the problem, to further analyze strategically, we use two models. One is SEN and SWOT. Let's talk about SWOT. SWOT is nothing but strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Let's see some of them. Aviator strengths are corporate, located in business emerging location, national presence, fares are competitive and compared to its peers. IT is consistently a bottleneck. IT silos inhibits cross-functional integration, data redundancy due to silos, no governance. Opportunities are increased flight frequency to major cities, provide attractive last-minute deals, expand international partnership. Threats are security, volatile fuel cost, operational inefficiencies. Now let's talk about SEN, Strategic Capability Network. This describes what value proposition for the service provided and who is providing that. Let's see some of them. Values are whenever you want to fly, wherever you want to go, Aviator is your airline partner to make your trip affordable and comfortable. Capabilities are identify and establish best partners for strategic advantage in the market, which improves business bottom line. Resources are adaptive technology to smoother acquisition, internal change allowing for more governance, unification model that allows business integrity. Conclusion. From the analysis, it clearly shows the Aviator is in replication operating model, which is higher standardization and low integration, and Aviator wants to go to unification model, which is high standardization and high integration. Next, Justin Bank can talk about a roadmap. Thank you.
Thank you, Krish. Now, I'm going to walk through the roadmap that we recommend Aviator follow during its transition from a replication operating model to a unification operating model. This roadmap has three parts. First, a service-oriented architecture. Second, the Open Group Architecture Framework, or TOGAF, and its Architecture Development Method, ADM. Third, IT Governance Review Board. SOA is an architectural approach that emphasizes a loosely integrated set of services within an enterprise. David will discuss more about the strengths of SOA later. TOGAF is a set of guidelines for organizations to use in planning, implementing, and maintaining an enterprise information architecture. TOGAF is just one tool that can be used by an organization in evolving an enterprise architecture. Other tools include the EA Cube and the Segment framework, which are both commonly used in conjunction with TOGAF, for example. TOGAF's ADM is an iterative process that starts with a vision and moves through business application data and technical architecture planning. ADM also includes recommendations around migration, governance, and change management. Governance and change management work together to ensure that the right things are being done in the right way. Since an organization's enterprise architecture is constantly evolving with the needs of the business, it is important to understand that TOGAF is an ongoing iterative process. These three frameworks of SOA, TOGAF, and IT governance provide the core tools that we will be using to guide Aviator's transition to a unified operating model. Next, Richard Ellsbury will discuss the risks and benefits of EA.
Let's talk about the risks first. Historically, enterprise initiatives have failed because an organization attempts a sweeping implementation. This is dangerous in terms of cost and success. So that Aviator succeeds in their conversion, we are going to recommend that you look at the current alliance that is in discussion and focus on only those data integration requirements. We will use that experience to define an implementation process for future initiatives. Another significant risk is communication. As Justin mentioned, we are going to propose the formation of a sanctioned governance committee. This committee will be comprised of key upper managers who will be kept informed and offer direction regarding the formation of data integration strategies. Now, what are the benefits? Reduced IT costs will be realized by moving siloed data stores into an integrated definition that accurately represents the organization. This will significantly reduce the duplicated efforts that we experience. With a more cohesive view of Aviator business information, IT will be able to respond to business opportunities more quickly and successfully. Aviator will be able to better manage security risks. You will have the ability to quickly report and analyze security threats. Confidence from senior management promotes faster buy-in and quicker response to business opportunities. Decisions will be driven less by divisional battles. Finally, Aviator will be able to operate at a higher level of excellence, provide better customer experience, improve product leadership, and be able to respond to opportunities in a more agile way. Now, David will talk about the advantages of a service-oriented architecture.
As mentioned previously, we believe that Aviator's future vision should include a service-oriented architecture, or SOA. An SOA is an architectural approach where business functionality is exposed through well-defined interfaces. In its ideal form, it is technology independent, allowing for shared use of common functionality and possibly reuse of larger business processes. When done correctly, SOA can provide business agility, allowing for quicker assembly of new applications or easier transitions away from technical platforms. This diagram illustrates the fundamental concepts of the SOA as it could apply to Aviator. The bottom layer shows the core business capabilities such as making reservations. These capabilities would be exposed as services. The top layer shows the enterprise uses of such services, such as the website. The middle layer describes additional capabilities that may be added, such as common business logic processing. Moving toward the SOA approach is not an easy one, but the SOA approach will give the organization the agility it will need to be more competitive. Enterprise architecture is the process for aligning your business and strategy needs with IT. Moving towards enterprise architecture can seem daunting. However, using an enterprise architecture approach isn't adding complexity. In fact, it's just the opposite, and will bring clarity to IT operations and give leadership confidence in their ability to make strategic business decisions. And with it, Aviator Airlines will be able to soar. Thank you.